Tēnā koutou everyone, welcome to today's information/workshop session. And just a reminder, this workshop is being recorded and it's open to the public, but it's for staff to provide guidance to us, and it's not a forum for debate or decisions. It's also not a forum for the public to provide input into decisions or to bring other matters to the attention of council. If a member of the public does want to provide input, please, you're welcome to talk to staff and they can help you have your say. So we'll move forward now to the new Footpath Programme. And this is for till 2:20, and we've got Trudy Jones to present to us today. Welcome.
Hello, I'm not Trudy Jones.
Jacob.
Hello.
Sorry,
I can let my hair out, but we'll let more to Trudy. So, new Footpath Programme. There was a version that was attached to the cover sheet that came to you. Oh, this isn't working. That's been slightly updated since we went to ELT. So there was a version that went on Big Tin Can yesterday, and that's the version to look at. So it's mostly the same, but a few small tweaks to it. Agreement during LTP was we would spend year one coming up with the programme, developing the programme. Year two and 3 would be all about delivery. We're a little bit late. We got caught up in some of the issues around building and other things with ELT. So we're here now. We started by looking at multi-criteria analysis. Effectively, we're trying to answer 3 key questions. One is, for all those areas of missing footpaths, how dangerous is it to be there? How many people do we think are likely to use it? And then the other part is, how hard or expensive is it going to be to build? As you can see on this, we put some weightings on that. So it's heavily weighted towards that kind of safety bit. And I'll come back and talk to that a little bit later. The sections for assessment came from many sources. I mean, we came out to the community boards, we've taken feedback through the annual plan. Some of it is from public feedback that we've had from tickets and so on and so forth. We specifically excluded areas where developers are expected to build footpaths within the next 5 years. We also exclude areas which are already in the capital programme. So there's examples like Gardeners Road and a few others that are already in the capital programme, so they're not included in this. And then there's one further special case, which I'm sure Councillor Peters will be interested in, which I'll discuss later on. The one bit I would note particularly is that this doesn't include interim measures. So we have taken the approach that this is about permanent solutions. That's something that we have to take guidance on if you want us to look at the sort of temporary grit style footpaths. But they're likely to cost a bit of money, which means we'll get less of the permanent. They could well create liability issues, and depending on how long they'll be in, they might become OPEX rather than CAPEX. So we need to be a bit careful about where and when we use interims if we want to go down that road. But at the moment, this doesn't use interim measures. It's purely about permanent solutions. Just highlight a couple of things on the appendices. Everything in here, I mean, the deliverability bit is a bit different, but certainly the safety and population and density are taken from objective sources. They're normally taken from, it says mega maps and operating speeds, measurable operating speeds. So it's something repeatable. If you turn up and say, I've spotted another gap, we can put it in the programme. We can very quickly assess it and pop it in and say, right, that goes in at number 27 or 53 or whatever it may be, and we can do that again and again and again. We can keep turning the handle. The other part is the rough order costings. So we have taken a typical sort of per metre length cost per length, and then for those that we know are a bit more complicated, we try to add an additional factor for that. This is all extremely high level. We haven't gone through and said, right, there are Ryan cables here, there are drainage issues, this requires a retaining wall. We tried to take a fairly broad brush approach. So there will be some, I'm sure, that are more expensive, hopefully some that are cheaper as well. And in order to balance that off, we've drawn most of FY26 and FY27 down. And that leaves us the future years to move money as and when we need it. So that gives us our contingency to deal with those kind of problems. The last bit is about sensitivity testing. So one of the questions we were asked by ELT is, why is deliverability in there as a measure, a criteria for choosing a project? I think we feel that we could easily spend a lot of money on bits that are going to take us a very long time to build. So you won't get those benefits. But as an exercise, we went through and said, well, if we take out deliverability entirely, how much will that change the programme? And I think that the takeaway message is that the top 10 doesn't change. Some go up and down, but the top 10 doesn't change. So it's pretty robust on that deliverability scale. I mean, because safety is weighted so high, and so it's going to drive you towards the safety factor. And then hopefully somewhere you've got the list. Like I said, that was sent out in Big Tin Can. The plan for us is we would draw down the first 15 and we'll try and deliver those. The one I wanted to note is the one at Main South Road, which runs from Woolworths to the hub. That we have excluded as a special case. There is a Hornby master plan, which NZTA are leading and we are part of. And that will look at what Hornby looks like in the longer term. I'd also note that that's going to be looking at the layout of the road. There's going to be property issues, Kiwi Rail issues, state highway issues. I would suspect it's not great value for us to spend several $1 million on something that might well change in a decade's time. So again, we can change that if there's a real desire from council, but I just wanted to point that out as a special case that we have excluded. And we can pick up, we feel we can pick up again later on when that master planning exercise is done. And that's everything I've got to say. It's questions from here on.
Thank you. Mark, I mean, Andre.
Thank you. First question is, yes, they put it off till the master plan's done, but when are we ever likely to see that master plan? Because it's been talked about 4 or 5 years now.
NZTA kicked that off.
Yeah. Yeah,
and we are involved in it. So Jane Cameron's strategy team is involved in that work.
And ETA on delivery?
I should know.
Chance of them never land up waiting for the master plan. There are people walking that route today. I see them every day walking there. So it's highly dangerous.
Can they get an update to their board?
Yeah.
On the timeline.
Of the master plan.
Yeah.
Andre?
Thank you. Yeah, most of it's making sense to me. Just the safety comparison isn't quite making sense to me. So just a couple of examples here. So Birmingham Drive, for example, was considered very high risk. At Cashmere Road by the quarry, that's where I brought you, Mr. Mayor. The safety is considered medium risk. Birmingham Drive, there's a footpath on one side of the road. Cashmere Road, there's no footpath on either side. There's no room for pedestrians, cyclists and cars to move. So someone's wanting to walk, they're almost getting hit. How's that medium that Birmingham Drive with the footpath on one side of the road is very high?
So the safety combination of the factors includes the type of street. So there are different types.
According to the district plan, isn't it? It's going to be.
Yeah. So there's, I'm not sure. And then there's the operating speeds on both of those and the volumes. So those combined create the safety.
So the speed limit's literally 10 k's higher on Cashmere Road than it is in Birmingham Drive. And it's clearly more of a danger to anyone who stops and looks. So my concern here is in that modelling, because for Birmingham to be very high, Cashmere to be only considered medium, something's not making sense. So yeah, it'd be good to clarify what's going on there.
Birmingham Drive, just to be clear, is
I'm not saying
it's going to be high levels of grade. It's going to be it's going to probably have higher overall numbers. I can't speak to the specifics, but knowing the street, it's going to be a much higher rating in terms of its movement function.
But it's not risky to walk down in Cashmere Road. It's just not. So something's not going quite right here, because it's not risky to walk down.
Yes. Okay. All right. We can come back with detail of it.
And then just the question is, so are we going to be rolling out sections of footpaths that no one has asked for ahead of sections that we've been getting asked about some communities for many years in long-term plan submissions and service requests and other things?
This is the proposal we've come up with. So it's going to come to council, and if you want to rank other things higher or lower, you are very welcome to do so. It's your prerogative as council.
Okay.
But we're asked to come up with a priority list based on some objective criteria. We have done so.
Okay, that makes sense. And then Lynette was mentioning that you can do just crusher gravel footpaths in places where it might make sense rather than the full shebang. That can be done cheap and cheerful.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
But like I said, that's the interim measures that I was saying. We haven't assessed that here. So if that's something that council wants us to do,
Yeah.
we can do that, but obviously it'll draw the line a bit further. So instead of getting 15, you'll get 11 or something, but you'll also get some interim measures as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, okay. No, that'll make much more sense now. Thank you.
Aaron?
Yeah, so you said it excludes Gardeners Road and there's another Gardeners Road project there, but the Gardeners Road footpath was put on 6-7 years ago and it's still with broken ground.
It's still there, and that's the extension of the other bits, the pumpkin patch bits. So the bits that are on that list
How
are the
can
other
we be
bits.
delivering any of these? Like are these 6 years away or something?
No, what he's saying is that Gardeners is the Gardeners Road project that was put on.
Yeah.
Program.
From
It's
Wilkinson,
still, yeah, it's still on program and it's still as named as a project as part of the LTP.
So with
And we're moving forward there, and I believe this is a briefing coming up forward soon on that one.
I think so. You've seen that, but yeah.
yeah, because that's like when you talk danger and stuff, there's one kid that walks that currently. And Lynette, you've probably seen it, she goes to cross the and the grass is long, it's wet, foggy morning this morning, it's a 60 km/h road and the school uniform's a dark uniform. I mean, you do the math on that combination and it's not a great one. So I struggle to support doing a footpath program was 7 years down the road from that one. I struggle with it. It's really hard. Like, it's great that we're doing it. I do support us going forward doing it, but we've got to get the ones done, like Andre's raising as well, that people have been asking for years.
That's what the ones that aren't listed as standalone projects in the LTP, that people have been asking for, we've tried to capture in this list. If we haven't captured them, we want to know about it because we've done everything we can to try and capture them
Okay.
in this list. The reason Jacob highlighted it was because we know Gardeners Road is a high priority for the board in that area, but it is listed as a standalone project and it is continuing. And there is, I believe, briefing coming up with the board.
Okay, and then, sorry, on the Gardeners Road one that's here, that says 111 Gardeners Road, which is on the west side, whereas the city, airport side, the city side, that has a partial footpath there, but then almost no houses. The other side's got mostly footpath, but down by the bus stop, where the really long grass is the only connection that's really needed. Or we trying to footpath both sides of the road. So that's on the wrong side then.
And we're just trying to show length. So it's not necessarily, there are quite a few of them where when you look at it there, it's just trying to show the location where a footpath would go, the length where a footpath would go as opposed to the side.
But then we've got paddocks in between, which are not scheduled. They might be houses one day, but it's nothing like you say, it's a pipeline.
So Lynette, if there's roads or footpaths that people want to query, who do they send it through to? Through the office of the CEO?
Yeah, I think it's probably the best way. Yeah.
You'll be going out of
We'll probably send this out by memo to community sports and ask for feedback.
Okay. Yanni, then Sarah?
So I just wanted to check on two projects. One is the Ferry Road, 800 Ferry Road.
Thank God. Thank God.
Oh, yeah, except there's a designation for lighting. And there's, so I just want to check that's you know, is that?
Yes, it's by the state highway bridges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I just want to check which part of Ferry Road this is. So this is.
It's just east of the state highway, where the roundabout that goes down towards the Littleton Tunnel is. It's just the south side of Ferry Road to link up to the bus stop.
With a roundabout.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not on the social conference.
No, it's on the other side to give access to the bus stop.
So,
Yeah.
But there's obviously a number of projects in that kind of area. So there's this one, there's the Helen Norris, which you mentioned as well. You've got the retirement village. And I just wonder, like, how much scope do you have to look at the kind of big picture in the local area and go, actually, we just do three at the same time because we're both in the same area. and we've got, one contractor doing it versus having each individual project.
We will certainly look at that. The plan here is to get the projects that we think are worth doing, and from there we'll look at how we procure them, which will probably mean bundling together in geographical
Because
areas.
the other thing in this area, which Sarah will know, is there's always been a desire for the community to have better access under the bridge.
Mm.
So there's a pedestrian kind of informal walkway, there's no connection.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean that floods at high tide.
So to limit at Buckley's Road, this is number 22, we own the land. McDonald's has a lease, that lease is coming up for renewal in 2 years, but the owner has come with some elected methods to bring that forward, offered to fund some improvements. But again, we've also got a major cycleway, which we haven't decided the route. We've got the speed platforms already been put in that intersection. We've got Chelsea Street that's about to go for renewal. We've got the other time that's going to be done. Is anyone kind of thinking a bit like the Hornby case? This is probably one of the worst intersections for the pedestrian amenity, with safety, crossing, and there seems to be no big picture plan. But it actually really needs one because of the volume of traffic. So there any strategic planning that you could do as part of that?
I think it's beyond the scope of the new footpath programme, really.
okay, so put that through, Sarah, and then.
Thanks so much, and so stoked to see the bus stop out there, so thank you. The other thing is support what Andre's saying about communities who've been asking stuff, and the hill communities, and I know around Mount Pleasant School has been asking for years for safe access on this track. I think Mount access this, my laptop's got issues. So there's some of those key areas that Mount Pleasant have basically given up on asking for. And I'm just wondering how far back the requests and data goes. The village track is the key route to school. Currently no place footpath or a weird crossing.
So that's one that you can put through.
Yeah, we can certainly rank it. If it's put through, we can rank it and put it on the list.
Do you take into account the requests, and does that feed in and how you're relating with?
That was included in the long list. But yeah, I don't know how far back we went in terms of customer requests. So
That'll come through community board as well.
Yeah.
So Vic?
Oh, thank you. I'm ready to take this to the community board going forward. My question is, has there been any community board input into the draft list that we have before us? Or has it solely been done on the multi-criteria analysis that you've described?
The long list, so the list of ones that were ranked against that multi-criteria analysis went out to the community boards some time ago. Last time we did the transport briefings, I certainly spoke about it, I think, every community board. And I think my feedback was you need to make sure you're on the long list. There's no way you'll get prioritised on the short list if you're not on the long list. So we have, yeah, and part of going back with the memo with this, the suggested list, is to make sure that there are none that we've missed.
So is there any chance that list can be extended, or will it have to be a substitute arrangement going forward? Something else on?
We would just extend it. I mean, the funding we've got for the first 2 years, like I said, takes us down to about 15. But we've got funding for the whole of the rest of the LTP. So we'll do the first two, we'll see how we go. Then we get to the next set of priorities, So we'll just keep going until the list is hopefully gone.
Think of it, so we've got the big long list, and if we need to add to that list, what the multi-criteria analysis does is prioritise the list.
Yeah.
It shuffles the list. And if a new one comes in and it dumps up the chain because of the multi-criteria analysis, then it just rejigs.
Yeah.
If things change in the future, more information, it's all the same.
All right, you.
Number 43, Governors Bay Road in Cascade. See, is that what side of the road? Is that the north side or the south side?
Which one, sorry? Governors Bay Road.
Number 43.
I think you've already said that it's not so much about that. This is a highly kind of thing.
Okay, look, I've not gone through your I just want to just draw it down as well. So it's down as very low risk.
Whereabouts?
That's right.
It's Mariners Cove. I suspect it's that one that's number 45 now.
There's almost no verbiage at all. It's 50 k's an hour, but you know, you get more races zooming through there, you know, sorts of things.
Yeah. It'll be based on the traffic volumes, the road type, and the speed limit. We've seen that.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is like, if you actually walked it, you probably think, holy shit, this is really unsafe. But that's just like, I'll just throw it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on that one as well.
Especially how many people.
And how many, right? And more population participated in summer. That's
Yeah, but
fine.
what I'm saying is it's way more dangerous than the logical steps are demonstrating. But the second thing I would say is there's actually like a walkway already between those two streets from Kaikamichael Place to Mariners Cove. But it's just, so I'm just wondering the need for it. So that's why I asked what side of the street it would be on. So I just sort of think that there's a little bit more that needs to be done because it's definitely necessary. There's a footpath that's definitely necessary there, but just where, I'm just kind of interested because I don't think it's very clear. That's,
And I think, you know, going back, the requests came in very vague.
okay.
So we had to do a desktop analysis and say, this is obviously an intersection that there's going to be residents walking around. We can't do the whole stretch of Governor's Bay Road, and this is going to be an area of higher usage. Assume it's somewhere in this vicinity, it's roughly this distance, and then the next stage is kind of investigating.
But you'll get clarification at the community boards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did consider that would be a bit more dangerous, so I'd kind of just like to highlight that particular
Yep.
one.
It's important that that comes back through and is fed back through the
Yeah.
team and through the community board
Okay.
as well.
That's cool. Cool.
Celeste?
Thank you.
Thank you. Some areas, it's just around the prioritisation sort of matrix. If you've only got one road in and out of the community and it doesn't have a path, so it might be a low volume of people travelling, but they don't have the alternative if they've got kids and they've got bikes to go off the road and it's 80 k's. Is that factored in? Because just to give you an example, Lower Sticks Road, it services a number of communities that are sort of feel like they're exponentially quite isolated, but there is an alternative route that they can take.
It hasn't factored that in. So it factors in the safety element. So for those, it's a high-speed road and it's quite narrow. But equally, then it's weighted down again by the fact there aren't many people who live around there. And there's no perfect solution. I mean, that's the point. I get that everyone will have one that they think is incredibly dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, so because when we look at the flying access was one of the key things. So it's like as soon as you change the prioritisation matrix, you change the order. So it'd be interesting to kind of consider whether access should be part of that.
We've done quite a bit of work. I know that I put this up as the sensitivity analysis. We've done several takes where we've tried playing with the numbers. I mean, obviously they change as you suggest, but not loads. So they tend to be pretty.
Any at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess the question then would be, if they're always going to rank low, they probably need to be up because they're always going to have small populations for access to all of the So just have a question around how they'll make it.
So at the moment, the team is sitting on a list and we've got more money in the 10-year program than we've got open sources. So we're in the opposite situation of what we really are. So we need to order them over a few years.
And just finally, when it comes back to community board, will it reference kind of the list that was sent through versus when it ended up? Because the community board got an opportunity to do that, so this is pros.
Yeah.
Will that kind of be presented alongside the plan? See where things make it?
I think we'd send out this list that says where they are. I mean, we can certainly put the community board or ward areas on if that would make things easier for people.
I think it would just be helpful to know where they came from. So some come from the proclamation that we've made. Some would have come through the board specifically, so the kind of outliers, but they.
I think we need to be clear. So the list of projects came from community boards, from requests. The tool only ranks those. That's all it does. It takes a big list of projects and says, right, of this, however many there are, 66 or something, aren't there? This one's number 1, this one's number 10, this one's number 20, this one's number 66. That's all it does. It doesn't pick projects out of thin air.
So then we know that that was where that came from. It's just understanding it.
Okay.
Okay, what we can do.
Yeah.
I don't envy your position. People racing to spend money. Well, we've got to be careful of that, and I'm just looking at that one at Murray Road up there, I drive past it every day. On that side of the road, you're gonna have to, it's right on the edge of that big creek, and it's, that's the sort of thing's gonna cost a fortune and gobble up all your money really fast, so that needs to be, you know, taken into consideration. People should be able to cross the road and use the other side of the road. Likewise, spending, you know, an absolute fortune doing what, so it's occasionally, Footpath to Spencer Park, the 3 people a day to use, it's not good. But I don't envy you.
I mean, certainly the one on Waimari, I mean, there's an argument that rather than build a new footpath, we should build crossing points to help people when they get to the end of the footpath. And perhaps that's the ultimate answer for ones like that. And so we need to probably be a little bit agile about what we do. But I think that's when you get into the detail.
Yeah.
Now we've got Mark, Andre and Tyrone.
Firstly, it's like, thank you for putting this together. Appreciate it. I'm going to go back to that Main South Road, Woolworths to the hub.
Yeah.
And the fact that it says very high risk, and intrigued by the happening / program. So does that say that there's actually a program in the plan somewhere for that?
No. At the moment, there's no funding or budget anywhere for that. Like I said, the master planning work, I think, will tell us what Hornby looks like, and then tell us, and then lead us to what the solution should be in that place.
And then going, it's got another couple. I guess we'll fix this through, I guess, OCE or the ranking that we do, whatever. There's Wilmers Road mentioned there between Armatia and Springs. Is that tying in with the parks unit as well? Because that comes on the back of more of the parks, so it should be tied in with parks somehow, I would imagine.
So maybe take a note there.
Check that,
And Stedman Road is mentioned there as well, number 19. There's a very large Kevin Hickman retirement village about to open extra units in there, hundreds of extra old folks who use that well-worn path. Does that get factored into there somehow, that the age and stage of those dangers they'll be in if they do come unstuck on the well-worn path?
We've looked at things like population density.
Just proximity to destinations which included retirement villages, so it is in there.
It doesn't weight them particularly. I don't think.
Last look, I imagine. It's huge.
Andre?
So this budget is unset, 86% development contribution funded. So does any, this may or may not be a you question, but if it's 86% DDC funded and you've got new subdivisions, which they don't necessarily have, does this budget allow you to extract the same amount of DCs for a footpath in the area without development as it does to an area with new development?
I'm definitely the wrong person to ask about how DCs work.
That's through the Andre.
But you get what I'm picking up.
Tyrone?
Just another Governors Bay Road based one. It's basically from the only point which was the between Rapaki and Cass Bay down to Rapaki Drive. I'm surprised that didn't get on the list actually. Was that it was coming through from community boards? I'm just wondering if it's just like maybe just take that into consideration as well.
Yeah, and that's if we send this out to the community board, that'd be really useful to get that back as feedback from community boards.
Okay.
And then we can rank it. Like I said, the things are objective. We assess them against the tool. It'll pump out a ranking.
Thank you very much. We'll go a wee bit over time, but that's exciting stuff.
Thank you. It's 3 years for me, so.
So now we'll go into this item 3, the census. Here besides an update on stats and modernising the census program. Thanks, Trudy.